Ally Bank is definitely one of the best online banks out there that you can possibly be banking with compared to plenty of other banks out there. From having a high yield savings account to having credit cards, mortgages, or even auto loans with them. But in this video, I want to primarily focus on their checking account, which they call a spending account, and of course, their famous high yield savings account. At the time of this recording, Ally is giving us a whopping 4.2% APY on our money that we have in their savings account. And this is actually pretty good because most banks out there, ladies and gentlemen, like Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, or even Bank of America are only offering us a 0.01%, which is pretty much nothing. Now, there are different online banks out there that you can start banking with that have competitive interest rates like SoFi, Capital One, American Express, Discover, and things and such. But in this video, we're going to be breaking down Ally Bank to see if this bank is the right bank for you. If you're already subscribed, then welcome back. But if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Ismael Sandiford, and you are now watching Just Money, where we talk about financial related topics such as personal and business, credit, real estate, and other financial related topics. So if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So jumping right into it, we're going to start off with the Ally checking account, which they call a spending account. This account that they're offering us will have no minimum balance requirements or fees in order to have this account. Now, they are going to be offering us a pretty decent interest rate based on the money that we have in that checking account, at least compared to most other banks out there. If you guys have anything less than $15,000 as a balance in that checking account, like $14,999, or anything below that, then you'll earn a 0.10% interest rate based on that money you have in there. But if you have a balance of $15,000 or more, then you are now eligible to receive a 0.25% on your money in your checking account. And honestly, even a 0.25% really isn't too much either compared to SoFi's checking account, because ladies and gentlemen, SoFi's checking account is offering us a 0.50% APY. But it's okay though, because you're able to earn way more with Ally's famous high yield savings account, which I'll talk more about in just a bit. But if you guys are looking to open up a checking account with Ally, then you can absolutely do so for free. And the process in order to do this is actually really easy. And one of the best parts is that you don't need to open up both a checking and a savings account at the same time in order to start banking with them like how you would with SoFi. So if you only wanted to get a checking account and not a savings account as well, then you can definitely do so. And the same thing is going to go for the savings account as well if you don't want to get a checking account with them. Personally though, I would just recommend you guys get both a checking and a savings account with Ally, because it just makes the most sense to, and they actually work hand in hand with each other. And I say this because it's actually easier to access your money. Because if you have the Ally checking account and you make your first deposit, then Ally is going to mail you your free debit card. Because if you only get a savings account, they don't offer you an ATM card, so it's going to be a little hard for you to access your money if you need to use it one day. But at the same time, you want the savings account too though, because that's where you're going to get the most return on your money. So honestly, the best thing to do is get both a checking and a savings account, so that way whenever you need to pull money out from your savings account, you can just transfer money from your savings account to your checking account and then just use your Ally debit card at an ATM to take the money out. But again, I'll talk more about their high yield savings account in just a bit. But as far as the Ally debit card for your checking account, it's going to come in the mail anywhere from 5 to 7 business days after you make your first deposit in your checking account. But if you want it to come in the mail sooner, like anywhere from 3 to 4 business days, you can actually get this card expedited for a $15 fee if you guys want to go that route. But once you actually receive your debit card, they have over 43,000 locations with ATMs that you can actually use for free on the Allpoint ATM network, so that way you can find the closest free ATM. Now, if you take out money at an ATM that is not free and you get charged a fee, then they will actually reimburse you up to $10 per statement cycle nationwide. And just like most other banks out there, this account is FDIC insured along with their savings account as well, all the way up to $250,000, so you don't have to worry about losing your money up to that amount if something ever happens to this bank. Another feature Ally has though is getting paid up to 2 days earlier if you guys have a direct deposit set up with them. So if you usually get paid on Fridays, then you would now get paid on Wednesdays. This is honestly pretty standard for most banks out there nowadays, so this isn't anything really spectacular. Ally also does not charge any monthly maintenance fees, no low daily balance fees, and no overdraft fees. So if you ever buy something and you don't have the funds in your account, then your account won't be going into the negatives, because Ally would simply just decline the purchase if you don't have the funds. But Ally also offers 2 overdraft services. One of them is going to be called Overdraft Transfer Service, which is going to be money coming from your savings account into your checking account in $100 increments if you ever end up overdrafting for whatever reason. But the other service is going to be called Cover Draft, which pretty much covers you up to $250 if you ever overdraft. Now, basic coverage does start at $100, but if you set up and receive qualifying direct deposits of $250 or more for 2 months in a row, then your coverage will go all the way up to $250 instead of $100. Now, you can use each of these separately, or you can actually combine both of these protections to have 2 extra layers of defense if you ever overdraft. One thing I will say though is that there is not a physical branch, so the only way to really deposit money is a transfer from another bank, a mobile check deposit, or you can actually mail your check in, which I don't recommend doing because I personally feel that's just doing too much. But you can also do wire transfers and you can set up your direct deposit with them as well. You won't be able to deposit cash because there are literally no Ally physical branches anywhere to deposit cash into because this is just a online bank. But if you guys are looking to withdraw money, then the options you have are again an online bank transfer, an outgoing wire transfer, withdrawing cash from an all-point ATM, requesting physical checks, or even phone transfers. But since we're already talking about this, let's talk about the limits they have on their withdrawals, deposits, transfers, and even debit card usage. So if you're going to be withdrawing at their all-point ATMs, for your protection, they will only let you withdraw $1,000 a day. But if you guys are new to Ally, then that limit will only be $500 up until you pass the 90-day mark of banking with them. And as far as deposits, those are unlimited, but if you guys are going to be doing a mobile check deposit, then you're going to be limited up to $50,000 per day and up to $250,000 every 30 calendar days. If you guys wanted to do anything more than that, then you definitely can, but at that point, you're just going to have to mail your check to Ally Bank. Now, as far as making a transfer to Ally Bank from another bank, you're allowed to do up to $500,000 per day and up to $1 million every 30 days. But if you guys are going to do a transfer from Ally Bank to a whole nother bank, then the transfer limit is going to be $150,000 a day and up to $600,000 every 30 days. And then as far as using your debit card in the first 30 days of having it, you will only be allowed to make up to $2,000 in purchases a day and $1,000 in ATM withdrawals per day as well. Now, after you guys been banking with them for over 30 days, your new daily spending limit is going to be $5,000, but your withdrawal ATM limit will still be at $1,000. If you guys feel like you need more than this though, then you could definitely reach out to Ally Bank and they'll try to help you on extending that limit. I feel like most of us shouldn't have a problem with this because I feel like most of the time this is going to be like our second, third, or even fourth bank that we're currently banking with now. So worst case scenario, just take out money from another bank that you bank with. Either that or use a debit card from another bank that actually has money. Another feature Ally has though is something called spending buckets. For those that do not know what this is pretty much a tool that they offer to help you manage money in your account better. And what this does is allow you to organize your payments into different categories and you can actually designate these categories. Maybe you want to have a bucket for your groceries or clothes if you're going out, or maybe a bucket for gas or even rent. But the point in doing this is to pretty much show you what you're spending your money on every month, so that way you can calculate what changes you need to make, how much you have in your balance left, and how much you spend towards each specific category. And let me also just mention that you're allowed to have up to 30 spending buckets, and you can also set up automatic transfers to these spending buckets every time money goes into your account. Now, you don't have to use this feature if you don't want to, but if you're the type of person to make a spreadsheet to see where your money's going, this pretty much already does it for you. But another feature Ally has on their checking account, which again they call spending accounts, is something called roundups. As you spend money, Ally is going to round up your purchases to the nearest dollar amount, and once you have at least $5 in roundups, they will transfer that money into your savings account. And the reason they do this is because their savings account gives you a way higher return on your money versus it being in the checking account, which is good. And speaking of their savings account, let's dive into that now, because this is one of the biggest reasons why plenty of people bank with them, and even why I myself bank with them now. So starting off, their savings account is FDIC insured all the way up to $250,000, just like their spending account and most other banks out there. And there are no monthly maintenance fees or minimum balance requirement fees. Now, the APY on their savings account is going to be a whopping 4.20% at the time of this recording, so this may or may not change depending on the time that you're watching this video. I've honestly seen it higher than this, but I've also seen it lower than this before as well. So again, depending on the time that you're watching this video, these rates may or may not change. A 4.2% APY isn't bad though, but not gonna lie, SoFi is a little higher than this at a 4.6 APY. I actually made a full in-depth video doing a SoFi banking review, so if you guys want to watch that video, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. Or I'll leave it at the end of this video so that way you guys can go ahead and watch it. I highly recommend you guys watch that video because it's super informative if you guys don't know what SoFi Bank is. But the good thing about Ally Banking that SoFi doesn't have though, not gonna lie, is you don't need to have anything in order to have a 4.2% APY on their savings account. Because in order to have a 4.6 APY on your savings account with SoFi, then you need to have a qualifying direct deposit set up, or you need to be making deposits of at least $5,000 a month to your account. If you don't have any of these two things going on, then SoFi is only going to give you a whopping 1.2% on your savings. So whereas Ally would just give you the 4.2% even if you don't have a direct deposit set up, or if you're not depositing money every month. So that's a good thing about Ally that SoFi is not doing. But even if you compare it to other banks out there like Bank of America, Chase, or even Wells Fargo, those guys don't even stand a chance with Ally. They're literally offering you a 0.01%, and you can't and won't be able to do much with that. Now, there are other high yield savings accounts out there, as I mentioned earlier, like American Express, Discover, SoFi, Marcus, or even Wealthfront, that will give you a higher return on your money, but honestly not too much. Like one of the top high yield savings account right now is Wealthfront at a 5% APY, but I personally don't trust them with my money. Just because they're offering you a higher APY doesn't make me more comfortable to have my money with them. So with that being said, the one I personally choose to have my money with is with SoFi. And then the runner up next is gonna be Ally. Personally, I just feel more comfortable with my money in SoFi because I like the app and website better, and then it's also easier for me to use and access. So again, I made a full in-depth video on SoFi banking, so if you guys want to watch that video, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. And also, if you guys are finding any of this information helpful, if you guys could do me a favor and hit the like button, I would really appreciate it because it really helps me out a lot, and then it's also a dope way to help support the channel. But anyways, let's talk about some other neat features that the Ally savings account has. Ally has something called savings buckets, which are kind of like the spending buckets that we just talked about, but for the savings account. But what this pretty much allows you to do is to just divvy up your money into different categories, like an emergency fund if you're saving up for a home or a vacation, or maybe you want to save up for specific bills or specific clothes that you want. You are able to do that with this savings bucket. As money continues to go into your savings account, you can designate partial of that money into that specific savings bucket, so that way you guys can hit your goals faster and actually keep track of them. And the coolest thing about this feature is that you're still going to be earning a 4.2% APY on the money that you have in this savings bucket. So as you continue to save, your money will be making more money every single month, which will then allow you to save faster. But another feature that this savings account offers is something called boosters, which is just different ways to bring more money into this account. They have something called reoccurring transfers, to where you can set up the amount and how often you want transfers to be coming in from either your Ally spending account or an external account. Next, they have rounders, which we talked about earlier, where they round up the money in your Ally spending account to the nearest dollar whenever you make a purchase, and then when you have $5, they will transfer that into your savings account, so that way you can earn more money because of the interest rate. Now, the last booster is going to be called surprise savings, and what this pretty much does is analyze your spending and savings pattern from your Ally spending account or even an external account, and then it takes away what money you think you'll be fine not having, and then just send that to your Ally savings account, so that way you can earn more interest on it. Now, for me personally, I don't like any of these because I feel like I don't really need any of these features because I'm always on top of things. That, and then I do bank with quite a few banks, but I can definitely see how this can be helpful for some people out there. But in all, ladies and gentlemen, I do think that this is a pretty good bank. I don't think it's the best bank out there, but it's definitely up there with the top competitors. The only downsides about this bank is that they don't have a physical branch, so it's a little hard to deposit or even receive physical money. They also don't have a sign-up bonus like how SoFi does, to where you can receive up to $325 of free money just for opening an account with them. So that kind of doesn't entice me to choose to bank with Ally versus SoFi. And then on top, they're not the highest yield savings account out right now, so there's always going to be alternative options to choose from. And as I mentioned earlier, they don't have an ATM card for their savings account, so you're definitely going to have to open up a checking account and transfer money in there, so that way you can get their debit card and keep making transfers to and from their savings account if you ever want to use or pull money. So if you don't like any of these features, then this bank might not be the bank for you. But if you guys don't mind having a physical branch that you can go to all the time, because you do most of your stuff online anyways, and you're just looking to get a high interest rate on your money, and you're just looking to park your money somewhere, then Ally Bank might be the bank for you. Because again, they do have those savings and spending buckets that you guys can store your money into, so that way you guys can reach your goals faster. And then on top, these guys don't really have any crazy fees that they charge you, and they'll actually even protect you with their overdraft protection options that they offer that I mentioned earlier in this video. That, and along with their monthly ATM fee reimbursements that you'll receive. So if you guys are comfortable banking online and the pros definitely outweigh the cons, then by all means start banking with Ally. And I almost forgot to mention, they do have access to an online representative 24/7, so if you guys ever need to chat with somebody on the phone, you can always reach out to them at any time of the day, since there are no physical branches anywhere. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you guys found value in any of this information. As always, let me know in the comments below, what is the best high yield savings account out right now, or who are you currently with? I would like to know. Don't forget to get your free stock at Robinhood in the description below that could potentially be worth all the way up to $200. And if you guys are looking for a high yield savings account, again, I personally use SoFi, so that's what I would recommend using. If you guys use my link in the description below, then you can earn up to $325 of free money, so I definitely wouldn't snooze on that while the offer is still available. And really quick, I do offer one-on-one consultations. The link will always be in the description below. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, we are at 41,469 subscribers at the time of this recording, so I do appreciate all who watch. I do post weekly videos for those that don't know. If you guys haven't yet already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't yet already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell, so that way you guys get notified every time I post a new video. And again, we talk about personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics, so if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. We talk about how to get high limits on your guys' credit cards, talk about how to boost boost your personal credit, how to obtain business credit. We talk about real estate. We talk about mortgage loan programs. We talk about all that. So this is your one-stop shop. And really quick, for those that don't know, I'm a licensed real estate agent, a realtor, and I'm also a licensed mortgage loan originator as well. So if you guys have any questions or concerns in regards to real estate, all my information will always be in the description below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.